Today I'm going to teach you how to draw something really special. I'm going to teach you how to draw Pika, a student of mine's dog. And Pika's illustration that I finished looks like this. You might think to yourself, wait a minute, how on earth am I going to be able to draw a dog with that much detail? Well, let me tell you, it's going to look a little different than mine, and that's just fine. It might look colored in differently. It might have a different style of eyes. It might be a little bit more cartoony. It might look completely different. But that's all right, because we're learning together and we're trying something new. And I have all the faith in you that you'll be able to draw something that you're proud of, even if it looks different, which it should, because you are trying this out for the very first time. Okay, so let's get started. The first step in drawing Pika the dog is to draw the main parts of the head and the ears. So I'm going to start by drawing a very rounded off triangle, a straight line with another rounded off triangle. Notice that they're about the same length or height, and it doesn't have to be perfect along the edges because we're working on that, okay? So don't worry if it looks a little bit funny. That's just fine. From there, for a helpful tip, you don't have to do this, but it helps me draw Pika as symmetrical as possible, is if I draw these as per two triangles on the diagonal line there, okay? So that helps me. You don't have to do that step. From that section of the head, you're going to create two slightly diagonal lines that curve or go more towards each other, and they reach the snout, the nose, the area where the dog's mouth meets the nose. From there, I'm going to draw a curve and another curve. So there's like a triangular point, all right? And from that place, I'm going to draw the nose. And you can draw your dog nose differently than I do. We're drawing really lightly, not too hard, because when you draw light, you can erase. But if you draw ferociously, for example, like so, gouging into your paper as opposed to going lightly, you will never be able to erase that one, while you can erase neatly and carefully with the other one. So, moving along, I'm not doing anything but the main parts. I'm making sure I like the shape, I like the position, and you can start doing some hatch marks to imply the texture of this dog. And the dog is mostly gray with some black and brown accents. So notice that I'm doing small strokes, small little hatch marks instead of these different scratchy clawed lines. Like if I did that all around, it would take me, okay, I'm done. See how fast that took? But it doesn't look the same. So I want to put a lot of effort into this illustration. I'm not going to rush. I'm going to go slow and careful, doing some small hatch marks, hatch making, hatching lines. And again, I got distracted. I wasn't really paying attention, and these look a lot different than the ones up there. Have no fear. You can get your finger and smudge them out. You can overlay some more for a nice texture. So you can blend and apply many layers. So this is a process, and it will take quite some time. And so I don't eat up our art time with all of my sketchy lines. I'm just going to pretend like I'm finishing this out, but no, I would go much more into this over time, okay? From here, I'm going to develop the face of this dog. So I'm figuring out that I really don't want it to look like a cat. So I'm rounding off these tips of the ears and I'm scumbling. Scumbling is an art technique where instead of drawing a straight line, you swirl whatever tool you're holding and you stir up the line and you make it a little bit more organic and it doesn't look so robotic. See, we're going to scumble around in our pencil, of course, before we get to permanent materials, tools that can't erase. Scumbling around to create a blended layer. And Pika's ears are the most prominent part of this dog, so we really want to dedicate some time to their striking look. All right? All right. And again, if you're unhappy with the harshness of those lines, you can take one finger, you can blend, and you can smooth out any harsh line work that you've done. All right. I'm just going to show you the overall layout of the dog's eye. So from here, I'm going to draw an eye shape. A little bit different than the human eye, right? And from there, I'm going to create a very large donut with 2 little light sources. And I'll do the next one even slower so you'll be able to follow it better. Just want to show you that I'm trying to create the idea of a dog's eye there, all right? And after I'm done drawing the eye, I will add some fur and some texture into the remaining open sections. Smudging or not, it's up to you, all right? So let's go into the next eye. And again, I'm trying to keep some space in between because there is that nose and the nose goes up a bit. I'm going to draw the dog's eye on the other side. I'm going to curve it up a little bit, creating almost like a teardrop effect. From there, I'm going to draw a big oval shape. If I made a mistake, it's all right. You can just shade in that area. Oops. And everything will be all right. And I'm going to draw the bigger donut with the 2 sections of the light. Filling that in very dark. If you realize you made something completely different happen to your drawing, that's just fine. We can fix it up. The next technique is finding a darker color. It does not have to be black. So in this case, I'm going to use some brown to mark in where the main parts of the darkest sections will be. Again, scumbling as I can. Notice I'm not going over anything that I don't want to become a permanent part of this illustration. I know the darkest parts are on Pika's ears, so I'm going to do some mark making there. And as we go into this eye, I'm going to outline around the darkest part. And I'm going to outline around the darkest part. And then I'm going to make sure I have a pen or another tool that gives me a fine line. See, it's totally all right if you made a mistake, because we can make sure that there is room to fix it. I'm just going to do some line work and some cross hatching to fill in the nose until I'm happy with the shape, because you can always add more, but you can't take away. And then I will blend in with a pencil to make it a softer gray. From there, I'm going to make the lines for its mouth. and some light hatch mark detail around the face. You're lucky that this dog is gray, because what we can do with our extra open space is gently fill in with the gray of the pencil the shade. And the best part about shading one solid form in with the pencil is that you have a chance to use an eraser as a mark making tool as well, which I'm about to share with you. I know that Pika has a very light forehead spot, so I'm going to erase. See how I smudge? Then I'm going to use my eraser as a mark making tool to showcase that spot on the dog. And then I'm going to open up this snout and nose, creating more of the body textures and fur. All right, from there I'm going to fill in the ears with an orange color, as well as fill in some of the side. Pika wears a pink collar, or at least in the photo that I saw. So I'm going to find a pink color to incorporate. I could spend hours and hours adding more texture into this dog. I can put so much more fur in with gentle line work. So I'm going to spend a little bit of my time focusing on and giving that attention to these sections of the dog that I was forgetting about, that I was ignoring. And even in the spaces that I left open, I'm still going to do my very best to lightly enhance this illustration by putting down some more textures. Sometimes your pen won't work on a certain surface, so it's good to have an extra set of tools on hand just in case. And to finalize this dog illustration, I'm going to make sure that your eye goes straight to the dog and not to the blank background. So to do that effectively, I'm choosing a very dark colored marker, and you could use a crayon or something else, and I'm going to draw with stripes, blocking in the surrounding area of this dog. Notice that I'm moving the marker along the edge, the contour line of this family pet. And it's okay if it stays messy out there. Watch what I'll do. I'll show you what I'll do soon. I didn't scribble with the marker, I'm just using stripes. I will just try to clean up the edges with additional tools from my pencil box. And again, all these tools were something from my pencil pouch. I didn't go shopping for them. I just had them on hand. So what you have in your station, if it's a pencil, a few crayons, you really can do wonderful things with your materials that you have. And there you have it. Thank you for coming. Can't wait to see you next time.